Oh, you know I love a good rivalry. And it continues, and the fireworks are still there, folks. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark squared off again as the Clark's Indiana Fever defeated Reese's Chicago Sky 88-83 on Sunday, making it 2-0 Clark in the pros. Reese and Clark have been linked since their much-hyped matchup in the 2023 Women's Final Four when Reese came out victorious. This one not without controversy, as Reese, attempting to block Clark's shot, also delivered a hard blow to her head. As Clark drove to the basket in the third quarter, officials upgraded the call to a flagrant 1 foul. Reese seemed to take exception to the ruling. Here's the ladies.
It's just a part of basketball. It is what it is. You know, she's trying to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah, I mean, it happens.
It's a basketball play. I can't control the refs. They affected the game obviously a lot tonight. I mean, I'm always going for the ball, but y'all gonna play that clip 20 times before Monday?
I think, you know, what she's done with her platform has been absolutely incredible. I've played her for a very long time, and she's been a tremendous player. So, you know, it's been fun getting to compete against. I think it's been really good for the game.
All right, Drea, biggest takeaway from that game, and feel free to react to that sound as well.
Yeah, I mean, the sound is interesting, obviously. It was a basketball play. I mean, that was the one thing, going back to the Kennedy Carter foul, what was the one thing we were all going crazy over was that was not a basketball play.
Yeah.
Those plays, going for a block shot, clipping somebody in the head, Asia Wilson's gotten scratched across the face, Skylar Diggins-Smith's gotten elbowed in the mouth. Like, it's a physical league. Nothing comes easy. Even Caitlin said it was a basketball play. So I don't take anything from the foul. What I take from these two going at it and keeping up with their record in the pros, it's a result right now from what they did in college.
It was a basketball play.
Yes.
Angel Reese is right about that. But what they called against her in terms of upgrading it to a flagrant 1 is exactly what they would have done in the NBA as well.
Correct.
So, again, It's a basketball play. She can be
hit to the
upset
head.
about it,
Yeah.
but it's a hit to the head, and that's what they're doing in this day and age.
The call was correct.
The call is correct. The game is a little bit different. That's number one. Number two, I also think to some degree they're looking for something from Angel Reese, because if you recall when Kennedy Carter bumped or, you know, shoved Caitlin Clark to the floor, was that June 1st, if I remember correctly? One of the footages they show was Angel Reese getting up and clapping and stuff like that. They keep their eyes on stuff like this, okay? But we don't care about that because, once again, that's basketball. That's what happens. It's no big deal. I don't view this as much of a rivalry in this respect. And this is just me and just how I think about basketball. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ain't competing with Larry Bird as much as Magic Johnson was going up against Larry Bird. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though Larry Bird was a forward and Magic Johnson was the point guard, both of them 6'8", 6'9", you understand what I'm saying? They're going up against one another. Their responsibilities to their team is similar. Angel Reese is a damn good player that I think has a very, very bright future in the WNBA. I view Caitlin Clark, as I was saying about her in college, this girl's the female Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's no shade on UNESCO because she showed up All-Star Weekend, and Lord, she might be that too. But their games, if you're talking to me, if UNESCO and Caitlin Clark were going at one another, now that's a rivalry that I'm willing to entertain because their games are similar.
Yes.
Angel Reese essentially is a forward, and Caitlin Clark's a guard, and I look at their responsibilities as being different. Here's where I'm going where the rivalry kicks in. Angel Reese, the reason why, obviously, the whole Caitlin Clark-Angel Reese thing happened was because when they met in the NCAA tournament in 2023, when Angel Reese was doing all of this, because Caitlin Clark had been doing that to her opponents when she got the best of them. So Angel Reese and LSU got the best of her, and that's what she did unapologetically, okay? And Angel Reese is going to talk that talk. And so because she's going to talk that talk, and because she's a conscientious observer, and she's going to speak her mind, and she's going to be unapologetic in doing so, that is where you see her in the shine, and the throwing in stuff about her with Caitlin Clark really comes in the focus. If it's purely about their games are on two different ends of the spectrum. That's not the rivalry. The rivalry.
You're the player. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I just think going back to the tournament and coming in the same draft class, all the hype for Caitlin Clark, it's a rivalry.
I want to agree with you so badly, Mom. I don't think it's a rivalry because to me,
you think they really like each other?
I don't know. I don't think
she downplayed it.
don't think they care as much about it, to be honest, as everybody else does. Like, I think Caitlin's fans care more about it, and I think Angel's fans care more about it than they actually do themselves. Like, if you really want a rivalry in terms of basketball and two players at the top of their game that have won MVPs and have won championships, and you're tuning in for that animosity in terms of competing on the court, it's A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart. That's the best rivalry in sports right now. There's not one in any other sport.
The layman's W fan is tuning in for that.
Tuning in for Caitlin and that's why we're trying to get.
I get late to the party.
Right.
I get it, but you get what I'm saying.
But if you're tuning in for the rivalry, you're tuning in for Caitlin and Angel in terms of a rivalry of personalities, and that's what you're tuning in.
The rivalry of personalities.
It's a rivalry of personalities.
That's where I was going to my the rivalry of personalities. We're talking basketball.
It's not a rivalry
of
performance.
A basketball, a rivalry of performance. No, that's not the case here. Yep. That's not the case at all. It's a rivalry of personalities because Angel Reese made it so when she went at Caitlin Clark. LSU, we a little bit different. You could try that nonsense with everybody else. Try it this way, how I feel now. And she rubbed it in her face and ticked off half of America, for crying out loud, which I loved because that's what it's about. But again, for example, if you looked at Isaiah Thomas and a Michael Jordan, even though Michael Jordan was a two guard and Isaiah Thomas was a point guard, they had the ball in their hands. That's when you think about Kareem, you're thinking about Ewing and Olajuwon and people like that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not thinking about, or Will Chamberlain, obviously. You're not thinking about comparing a center to a guard.
I don't know, but to me, it's
and
like,
I
don't know if they like
That's not how it
I don't know if they actually like each other. But the thing that's funny for me is even when we talk about a rivalry of personalities, there's similarities between them. They're both going to talk trash. They're both going to be animated when they do something great. They're both competitive. They're both so it's pick a side in terms of which personality.
Clark tied in the WNBA, leading the league with 3 technical fouls this season, tied for most in the WNBA. That's number one. And number two, you know, she's Caitlin Clark, 5th most fouled player in the WNBA this season. A'ja Wilson, by the way, leads the league in fouls. Fouls against, fouls, she's drawing fouls.
People destroy. A'ja gets hit in the head
all the time.
Probably 10 times more than Caitlin, but it's just a whole different story.
That's a whole different level.
But it's a physical
The Fever won back-to-back games for the first time, and Cordosa and Reese a double-double. First time rookie duo doing that since 2008, so shout to them.